You are. Hi, Carey. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. So this is quite a departure for you in terms of type of role. What attracted you to this project to play this character?
I mean, pretty much everything. I think it was sort of unlike anything I'd read before, not just the character, but also the script as a whole and the way that it was, um, constructed. And there was so much that I didn't know as I went through the script. I felt like I was constantly having all of my expectations flipped on themselves. So yeah, the script was incredible. Emerald's sort of vision for how the film would look and sound was so exciting and unique. It was just sort of a no-brainer.
hmm so I wanted to ask Emerald, um, tell us about the inspiration for this film and your choice of Carey for the lead role.
Yeah, I think the inspiration really was just growing up at the time I grew up in, where taking drunk girls home was just the norm, really, and something that was a punchline to a lot of movies and certainly part of a lot of banter, which has always seemed slightly kind of worrying. And so yeah, so it's all sort of seen through this character Cassandra, and really the top of my list to play her was Carey, because she's so talented, but also because the film itself is so heightened and spans so many different genres. It needed somebody at the center who was just going to be completely truthful and honest, and I think that's what Carey's speciality really is.
So this is a badass woman revenge movie. Is this the perfect feminist movie for the Me Too era? Can it help Hollywood hire more women for leads and to direct films?
Gosh, I mean, I think every time there's a film that has any kind of success, critically or commercially, it's a step in the right direction, because it shows the audience, it shows that there's an audience and there's a hunger for this kind of material. Um, this was written and conceived of before the Me Too movement, but of course, I think there has been a greater emphasis on telling women's stories in the last couple of years. And I think, the more that's reflected in the numbers, the bigger the chance there is. And I think, certainly with something like this that was made on such a small budget in 23 days, for it to sort of transcend out of kind of indie category into something that does have a much wider audience is testament to the fact that, that these stories, want to be heard, need to be heard. So hopefully, I think this year has shown, I mean, there are so many brilliant films directed and written and starring women this year with really interesting roles in them.
And Emerald?
Yes, I think it's funny, isn't it? Because I think when you make something, you don't necessarily you're kind of focused in on the story and the personal element of the story and how it feels to you, and I think the political implications kind of are somewhat outside of that. But yes, I hope that it's something that I think I feel very grateful to the unbelievably talented female filmmakers who have, made so much beautiful stuff for years and years and years, that have made it, easier for people like me to make something. And it just certainly this year seems very exciting, and hopefully, as Carey says, it's just it will just get better, and it will just be more and more usual, and hopefully we'll be having fewer and fewer discussions about it, because it will be natural, it will be just completely normal.
So what do you think the message of the film is about? Is it about sending a message to people who think women might be fragile little things?
So again, it's a funny thing. I don't know. Everyone takes such a different thing from it, and I think that's really important. But certainly for me, the thing that is important is that, it's how we talk about things, how important it is to talk about things and address things, how important a part of forgiveness and redemption apologies are, and acknowledgement, and it's really about those things, I think, more than anything, for me anyway.
Mhm. And Carey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's often, you know, when we're telling stories like this, I think I always say to my children, they ask, you know, they've asked me in the past what I did for a living. I talk to them about being a storyteller. I say, like, because I think saying actress is so confusing and it gets conflated with celebrity, which is a concept I don't want to introduce them to. But I say that I'm a storyteller, and I think that that's the, you know, truth of it when we come to making films, is that, you know, there isn't a board of people sitting around deciding to address a societal issue. It's not handled like that. It's a perspective of one person who's experiencing this kind of stuff, which invites people to have a conversation. And it's really, I think, the message movie kind of format, I suppose. I don't know if films aren't really made like that. And I think it's much more about audience reactions and what people take away. And I think the most successful version of that is when it's just, you're left with lots of questions. Nobody's being told what to think, which I think is what Promising Young Woman does. It's not didactic. It's just raising a question that we're kind of curious about, and we're curious about, you know, this story.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
hope you guys have a happy and healthy new year.
Thank you. Oh my God, your cat is so sweet.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
So I was so distracted. Look at that face. Oh,
Her name's Minky.
Oh, no, too sweet. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.